Alright, so let's talk about The Equalizer, which is a movie that came out in 2014, and I just watched yesterday. And I watched it specifically because The Equalizer 2 is coming out in the next day or so. And I thought I would have seen this whenever it came out in 2014. I can't believe I missed this movie. It's got Denzel Washington in it, one of my favorite actors, Antoine Fuqua, who I've only seen like a couple of his movies, but what I've seen him do, none of them are bad. There's one that's really incredibly fantastic, which is Training Day. I know everybody loves that movie anyways, but this one to me, I feel like out of the movies I've seen of his, again, it's not bad, but honestly, I was kind of underwhelmed by this movie. I thought that it had a cool premise to it, but I felt like the execution was kind of lacking, and I thought that it did make up for it in the great action. Like, the action in this movie is really good. It's really brutal. It's really intense. And this character, Robert McCall, I do like how this character has a mysterious past to him, and as it goes along in the movie, he slowly becomes, you realize what it is, you realize more about him while he's trying to save this person in this thing I won't really spoil. I'll try to keep this one spoiler free because I feel like there's not really much to spoil about this movie. The plot is very, like, you could tell where it's going, which, I mean, there's movies I love that do that, but this one is just like the plot to me weighed it down, and I thought it was just not super interesting. But like I said, in terms of the acting, of course, I just love Denzel Washington. I think that he gives off, again, like every one of his roles, he gives off such a great performance, and not Oscar worthy or anything in this movie, but he's still really good. Like, he's not sleepwalking through it. He's fine. But it's just, like I said, it's just a boring story, but great acting and great brutal action. It's a great brutal movie. Like, it feels, whenever it's intense, it really works. And I like the fact that this character is with all of these people that kind of, he becomes, like, he's just this nice guy who deals with all these people and treats them all uniquely and fairly. And I like all of his friends, all of these people that he meets, all these people that he works at that Home Depot type store, like all these characters that surround him, he loves, and he treats them like in a way that in the end of the movie I feel like it pays off with these characters. Like, these characters are in the movie enough to where they have like kind of an arc to them. But overall, like, this movie I think is fine. It's not Antoine Fuqua's like best movie that I've seen. Like, I think it's totally fine. It's definitely not a bad movie in any way, shape, or form. It's just perfectly serviceable, and the action is great, brutal. The acting's great and fine. The story's all right. So overall, to me, that just makes a kind of a mixed package. But it's not a bad movie overall. It's totally fine. I'm glad I finally got to saw it. So overall, just it's all right.